But in terms of tackle, my friend.
Yes, sir. I can tell you this, Danny Parkins. This is a great tackle class. Like one of the best in years and years. Some of the draft analysts that I was reading through are saying it's the best they've ever seen in terms of tackles because there's 5 tackles with top 20 grades, which is crazy to have that many up that high.
Which, in theory, is good for the Bears if they don't want one. Because, high premium position. High premium position, 1 or 2 of them go off the board before 9. You want as many picks that you don't need to go off the board. It's why they probably, they want 4 quarterbacks to go before 9 if possible. They would like 2 tackles to go before 9 if possible. Because we can go through the prospects first, or we can just discuss whether or not the Bears need one.
Yeah, that's the big picture, right? That is the big picture issue. Let's talk about the prospects first, because if you're telling me, hey, here's Jonathan Ogden at 9, like if we're talking about decade-long first-team All-Pro. Here's Tony Baselli. Would you like a Hall of Famer at left tackle for your number 9 pick? It gets to be something that maybe you should consider. Joe Atl is seemingly everybody's number 1 at Notre Dame.
He looks perfect. I don't mean to I'm just saying.
He really does.
As a prospect, I'm not going to, again, claim to have done all of the film work or that I would know how to, but, he's 6'8". He's expected to run around a 4.9 40. He allowed 0 sacks, 2 quarterback hits, 3 hurries. In a full 3 hurries
in a season,
not hits, hurries.
All right, so am I adding him to the list of guys Danny likes?
Well,
is Joe Atl on the list?
No, I don't know. I don't know if I'm allowed to like linemen. It's just because of my reputation.
Look, Joe Atl is a 3-year starter at left tackle in a pro-style offense, and he blocked out of the 2-point stance and the 3-point stance. And to your point about the athleticism, he was a pass catcher first. And he transitioned to tackle as a freshman. So he's an athlete of a football player who plays tackle.
Who's a mountain of a man. 6'8", 315.
He's got bloodlines. John Alt, member of the Kansas City Chiefs Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
And his older brother is on the L.A. Kings as well. So family of athletes, pass catcher, now a tackle with perfect measurables, it seems, and incredible stats.
He's got the bloodlines. He's basically an AKC registered German Shepherd. Same thing.
Right. So
his father sired Joe Atl.
How do you think Black Diamond Plumbing and Mechanicals feeling about their maiden voyage?
Probably pretty good.
Pretty good.
I would.
Gotta be happy with
just
it.
Just checking in on it.
But it just
want to make him happy.
It feels impossible that he would be bad.
It feels very, very improbable that he would be bad. And if there is a Tony Baselli in this class, it feels like it's him.
Yeah, completely agree. We can keep going here. I honestly, you want to go with the Penn State kid next?
Sure. Olu, it's interesting because I've seen Olu as low as 4 or 5 on some rankings, but a lot of people like Olu as the number 2.
Might be the best athlete of all of the tackles, even if he won't run the best 40-yard dash time. He is good film in terms of movement out there, also incredibly strong. So he is, again, another guy that, 8 games, 542 snacks in 2022, only 6 quarterback hurries and 1 quarterback hit in 2022.
He got beat at Ohio State a few times.
Yep.
So on the road, loud place, Ohio State got beat. But, I mean, all the things that you want. Like
multi-year starter at Penn State.
Graceful athlete on the edge. I've seen it written up that he almost dances with defenders, showing rare agility. That's on the Fox Sports write-up. So, yeah, not charged with a single sack in 3 seasons at left tackle.
Yeah, he has registered a bench press of 405 pounds, squatted 605, and power cleaned 350. That's pretty good. That's a strong individual.
I got to say, I'm waiting for arm length on all these people.
Of course.
Remember,
that's part of it.
Peter Skoronski's arm length dominated a lot of Poles' position last year. I bet Black Diamond is sad they missed out on that.
Yeah, how could you not be?
You know?
Yeah, that was good stuff.
And you saw what happened to Skoronski, right? Moved to guard.
Yeah, guard.
Guard
Which
all
is
year
what
long.
We talked about a ton and why I said I didn't want him.
I know, and I did. I did want him, and like Rand Carthon was talking about Skoronski. He made like the all rookie team at guard, and he was like, "Yeah, we'll still consider him a tackle, maybe, but with the length of some of these players, yada yada."
It was
yada.
it was too high of a pick to go for a guard.
Mm-hmm.
The kid from Oregon State is a right tackle. Can we cross him off?
Sure. Because they've got one in Darnell Wright. So you're talking about Fuaga.
And he looks awesome. My buddy Jeff Schwartz was doing some stuff with
Spaceball?
No.
The lineman.
The lineman, yeah. He was doing a lot of stuff on him, and he's got Pac-12 in his background because he went to Oregon, and this guy went to Oregon State. And he was saying he looks like a plug-and-play 10-year starter at right tackle,
right,
but the Bears have one of those.
Yeah, but they do have a right tackle. Let's do one more just to talk about it before we can move on to the bigger picture, because I know you're dying for it and I'm dying for it. But J.C. Latham from Alabama, 6'6", 360, the junior. Most celebrated signing in the whole SEC in 2021. You're talking about crazy pedigree, but last 2 years it's been at right tackle. So people think he can be a left tackle, but it could be a right tackle.
So again, to me, the only real question is Alt.
If Alt's at 9,
I think that's the only question. If the top tackle on the board is there,
very unlikely.
I agree,
because I think it's going to be 3 quarterbacks and then in some order 3 wide receivers and a couple of tackles.
Yeah, I mean, it's very early. It's very early. Like, does what happened with Bowers today and his the wingspan, does that vault him up as an edge rusher? It's
Turner. You mean
Turner? Excuse me. Do 4 quarterbacks go?
Right, that's possible.
Does McCarthy? You know what I mean? So I it's still real early to say that.
Yeah, it's true.
But I think that Ryan Poles, it's everything in the NFL in a salary cap sport is how much production you get based on what you're paying for it. And he used a 5th-round pick on Braxton Jones, who is a capable starting left tackle in the NFL. Does he feel the need? Where would you rank it on the list of Bears needs to upgrade from above average, maybe replacement level to above average, to great at left tackle? I mean, it would be nice, but don't they have bigger needs than going from good to great?
Yeah, I think we did that exercise on the first Poles position, talked about their needs, right? I think we did that, and it was pretty low, because here's the thing about Braxton Jones. 2 more very cheap years for a guy they like, that they picked. And you can look at some of the rankings. This past year, Braxton was 35th among 81 tackles, according to Pro Football Focus. As a rookie, he was higher than that. He was 19th. But remember, he had the neck injury. And there were a lot of penalties early. He came back in Week 9. From Week 10 through the end of the season, among all left tackles, he graded out as the 11th best left tackle in the NFL.
Right.
From Week 10 through the end of the year, once he was healthy again. So they like him, they anointed him, they've coached him, they know him, and he's here for 2 more cheap years. I don't think they're going left tackle in round 1.
I don't think they're going to use a first-round pick on a tackle 2 years in a row. We should mention that the kid from Penn State, Olu, played with Caleb in high school. So that is a
very cool, fun thing that would be nice.
Yeah, it would be nice. And I do think that there's a real chance that they're going to use that asset on offense to help have some continuity with Caleb and another highly touted prospect. Mm-hmm. But here's what Olin said when we asked him in January about competition at left tackle and if Braxton Jones should be their starting left tackle next year.
Right now, I do think that. I think they have other issues higher up in the draft. I think there will be competition now for Braxton Jones. I think he knows that. And here's the thing about all that talk, guys. All that, if they do bring a guy in here who is better than Braxton Jones, you guys have to remember this. There are not a lot of good offensive linemen in the NFL. So if you're good enough to play in the NFL, all you have to worry about This is what I would tell Braxton Jones, as everyone knows I know him. Here's what I would tell him. If a guy comes in who's better than you, if you're good enough to play in the NFL, you'll play in the NFL, right? So you don't worry about that. You don't worry about competition. You welcome it because if you get to see someone that good who's on that higher level, the only thing that guy can do is make you better. So I expect Braxton Jones to be a left tackle. If they do get better at that position, good for them, right? Good for them that they bring competition in at the offensive line position. I'd like to hear someone ask them about their center plan yesterday, which wasn't very good, right, which really hurt them in the last game. Their offensive line plan going into the season, right, their offensive plan. All you're asking for is answers that make sense. They don't give them to you.
So, look, it's interesting because here's where we had the big needs for the first polls position that we did on the 13th of February. Top 4, we had quarterback, edge rusher, wide receiver 2, or receiving tight end 2.
Right.
We called it like pass catcher, and center. Those were our top 4 that we settled on. And then the next batch had potentially left tackle, but we had interior D lineman, which we could revisit, obviously. Free safety, running back. We had cornerback way down on there. And then, we went through figuring out like how they're going to address these. Quarterback, we think, is going to be 1-1. Wide receiver 2 or tight end 2 could be number 9. Then the center, then the edge rusher, then the free safety. Like, I really don't think they're going to use a big time asset on a left tackle when you have other things you need.
So Texter makes a very fair point. He says, so it's okay to criticize looking for a left tackle and say, why would you not want to go for greatness, but at quarterback you want to shoot your shot from going from good to great?
Yes. That answer's
yes.
Yes.
Huge difference.
There's nothing more important than the quarterback who can be great.
And I understand the argument that a better offensive line elevates your receivers and your quarterback and all of that. But
it's a great point, though.
But it's one of 5 offensive linemen, and a quarterback makes everybody better. And it's obviously the most valuable position in the NFL. And, man, I think I know people don't like to hear it. Part of this is getting inside the mind of Ryan Poles. He drafted Braxton Jones. That is a win for him. So
right, they chose the guy and fell in love with him pre-draft, and he proved them right. So they still believe in the motor and the makeup and the development, the possibilities.
Yeah, and he has a few of those on his resume. Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, Braxton Jones, the first 2 in Kansas City, Braxton Jones here. They found a home for Tevin Jenkins because people just moved Braxton Jones to left guard. Tevin Jenkins thought he should have been a Pro Bowl at left guard last year. I know you need depth and you need versatility and all of that, but if you've got good at left tackle, you don't have anything good at wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a much bigger need on the team. So Ryan Poles loves offensive linemen. Obviously, he's a former offensive lineman. It would surprise me greatly if they did it.
And the other thing is, Shane Waldron uses a lot of 12 personnel with 2 tight ends. And that's when my guys Chip Help and Max Protect get involved.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're looking for, that it's a rock solid necessity that you have a dominant left tackle who can go one-on-one. For what they want to do offensively, having a left tackle who can really move like Braxton Jones, and if they're going to run a lot of 12 personnel, it's not quite as much a terrifying necessity.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you want those. It's obviously an advantage if you can just have a franchise left tackle, right?
Sure.
To have Penei Sewell, have your guy that you don't, because then you don't need to, and you can run other guys out into the route tree, give help elsewhere. If you have bookend tackles that are Pro Bowlers, we've seen it in Detroit. You love how Detroit's built.
I do.
Built their roster.
I do.
If you have excellent tackles, it allows you to do a lot of crazy things. So if the number 1 tackle on the board is there, I think that it's a move that he'd make. But anything short of that, I don't think he would settle for the 2nd or 3rd tackle on his board to upgrade from a guy that he personally found. So I personally think it's Joe Atl or bust if you are dreaming of a tackle for Ryan Poles and the Bears. But we are very excited that we always love when people support the show. So support people who take care of us. Black Diamond Plumbing and Mechanical, there when you need us. they heard Pole's position. They wanted to get involved.
Cleaning out the pipes of the Bears'
All right,
infrastructure.
I'll take it from here. I'll take
come on, that's just
I'll take
it's
it
a
from
healthy
here.
plumbing analogy.
There's no way to know.
Still working on it.
There's no way to know. We have.
Yeah, your fear.
I do have a lot of fear. I do broadcast in fear of your lack of filter. I do every single day.
I understand.